Hello and welcome to Spring Grinder Forge Alliance Forever. Today we're watching the third place match between Nexus of Reality and Blodir in the Legend of the Stars end of year tournament for 2016. And we're supposed to be on the map Hollow, but we're on the old version, we're on Veil of Stars. Hollow was the remake of this map by Bias, but these guys are on Veil of Stars, which is, well, it's fine. It's not hugely different. So let's see. Build order 3 engineers, none of them grabbing mass, well, just a couple bits of ice here. Idling that land factory for a short period of time is not great. But he goes 3 engies and then a mantis. So Nexus being a bit greedier, he's gone 4 engies and a mantis. And he's stalling when he has all this mass around. It's kind of bad. He should be grabbing like all of these chunks of ice. So obviously no BO whoring here. That's being kind of lazy about this ice. I don't think there's any reason to not grab it, because the thing is, if you want to expand faster, well, on this map it's extremely open. So if you want to expand faster, so basically you want to not waste time or not use your engineers to take the ice, you just want to run straight to any mechs you can, then actually it's going to be harder to defend. You're going to have to make mantis earlier. So I would rather, apologies for that sound, I got a message. I'd rather keep my engines in the base for a bit longer and take all this mass, which is significant, and then you can actually make mantis slightly later. Now you will have less total mass than if you expanded faster, because the mexes will come out later, but you should have an easier time defending, and you may get that very slight advantage in the very early game. But really there's just different ways to play the game, and that's one way. Not necessarily better. You can see Nexus needs some mass. He doesn't want to lose this engineer, and it looks like he won't. Blodir's not targeting him, just trying to keep his mantis alive. And Speedy should probably get built, or may not be a mass stall, we'll see. Depends on the reclimb. And we just have mantis scouts for now. Quite a lot of land scouts, you really need them, because it's this so spread out, you can't cover this map with the radar. Unless you want to make some fucking T2 radar or something, but you're not going to be doing that for a while. So make sure you mix lots of land scouts on maps like this, which are very open and require you to raid a lot. Easy to see why both players have gone for Cybran, because they really do have a really nice T1 stage on maps like this, because you have obviously the speed of the mantis, which is slightly overblown but still an advantage, but then you also have the jester, which is great on T1 stage. Quite a huge advantage to have a gunship on T1. I think it's not really, people think of jester snipes a lot, but I think people don't think of just the advantage of just having a gunship to raid and stuff on the T1 stage. It's quite exceptionally useful. So the difference in the way this game will be won will be basically in the most basics of the game, which will be being efficient in your land spam, being efficient in your raiding, because there's not going to be any ecoing really. I think we're just going to see a lot of T1 mexes for most of this game probably. So it's about efficiency of raiding, efficiency of how you spam your land, and efficiency of fights. So you want to make sure that you're taking fights where you have more mantis than your opponent, you know, the art of war and all that. You can ask Lich King about it. So, Nexus trying to set up something in mid. He's got a PD. Blodir sees that immediately, is making Medusa. And Blodir has quite a lot of air scouts. If we look at Nexus, you can see a lot of tanks going to mid because his ACU is in mid. So on a map like this and against Mantis, I think you have to be very careful how you split your units. If you send too many to the sides, you can very easily just get sniped. Basically, maybe not the right terminology, but that's what will happen. And actually, looks like Nexus, this messy air fight, will lose air most likely. You can see he has these Mantis essentially protecting the PD and the PD protecting him. Over here we have another large group, and you see they're all sort of well organized in large groups. This is quite bad from Blodir, a bit of mass donation running into PD in an army. Over here Nexus can survive this quite easily. With this PD there's no Medusa. He can always fight if he has an advantage, and he can fall back to the PD if needs be. So quite nice to have. You can see basically all of his Mantis are near a PD, and he's not being very aggressive. He's being quite defensive actually, because he knows he has the advantage, or he senses it at least. So now Blodir moving in for a kill, and this horrible shift G is blocking him. Now Blodir under some attack. These units are kind of out of position. They ran out of range of anything more or less, and now they run back. Both commanders, well, Nexus on 6, Blodir 6.7k, and the units on top come to mid while also sending some raiding units. It's quite risky. You see Nexus sending raiding units. Also this army over here sent to raid. Missed this part though, unfortunately, but he is really low on HP now, but it looks like he's getting a bit of an advantage in numbers, and he needs to block Blodir's ACU. Blodir probably lost his unit advantage there because he's solely attacking Nexus's commander, trying to get the kill rather than shooting units, which would give him some vet and also reduce his opponent's DPS. But now Nexus has enough units, and he's actually retreated into a cul-de-sac. But it's enough. He just needs enough time to get out of range and to get these units forward. Didn't see any gestures from Blodir, which is maybe a bit disappointing. Gestures probably would have won that. There was no anti-air for Nexus whatsoever, and air is quite close, so maybe that would have tipped the balance. But now Blodir has to be careful himself that he doesn't die to the spam, and also he's left a huge amount of reclaim. His PD, I think it's not hugely useful. And Blodir now losing HP quite rapidly. He's on 4k. Well, not that rapidly, I guess. He's on 4k, and Nexus already regenning. He's got exactly 1 vet. 20 vet points, so he's going to be on a similar HP to Blodir quite soon, and this reclaim field you have to feel is going to be extremely difficult for Blodir to take. And also Nexus did some serious raiding while this whole attack was going on that he just survived. Now we actually have a gesture from Nexus, and there's an anti-air turret though from Blodir, which is quite good. But looking at numbers right now, I'm sure Blodir is falling behind. Yeah, we have significantly more Mantis for Nexus, and also I have to say I don't like Blodir making so many Medusa. I think it's probably a mistake that he's made so many of them. And now it looks really bad for him. A lot of units in mid, Jesters waiting in the wings, raiding in the top. Oh wow, there's jesters all over the map, which is maybe a bit dangerous. They will get killed one by one, and they haven't done a huge amount of damage. Okay, we have units. Looks like these factories will die. GG should have drawn. Yeah. Should have gone for the control K when he had Nexus low enough and realized he couldn't actually get the kill. So now we will watch the next match on Goodlands. This map's on ladder at the minute. The trick to Goodlands is to make sure you grab all the reclaim. I think there is a huge amount of reclaim on this map, and it's very important. So blodir, this is pretty normal. I don't really want to play it, to be honest. Damn, blodir really hates losing. Me too. Me too. Kind of interesting that there's a third place match. You usually don't have things like that. It's kind of like a World Cup thing in football, but most tournaments don't really give a shit about third place. But we care here at FAF. So yeah, you can B-hore this map quite heavily. So much reclaim in all these rocks. You want to have an NG early on, the attack move in the middle of here or here somewhere. You can see Nexus already stalling, using a lot of reclaim and almost no attacks. Here we have this is nice, extremely fast attack and just rally point to the opponent's base. This engineer will die, and it's going to be really annoying. Units are going to have to be sent across by blodir to defend this, and he really doesn't even have enough units to do that. And if you can kill engineers like this guy making a hydro, this guy reclaiming, that's quite important. Blodir's eco bar already looking pretty horrific. This engineer is very quick to expand, I like that. And this guy is not on the ball. This is quite sad. Will he be able to kill this engineer? He should be able to. Not the best micro. Here's another NG that will survive. No expansion here, but blodir is already expanded to the left. But this raiding is still going on. 6 kills. Fuck me, this is disgusting. And blodir's ACU is on the right. So usually you see ACUs move to the left, as you can see with Nexus. He's very slow to this, actually. Did he make both expansions? Is that his plan? It's interesting. And a lot of engineers in the base. You need tons of engineers in this map. Obviously, as I said earlier, to grab the mass, which is in basically all the dark parts of the map have rocks. I don't know how many people are aware of how maps actually work, that generally they're colored differently to show you what's actually there, because you can't see the reclaim obviously when you're zoomed out, so you have these indications built into the map. So the dark colored areas have rocks basically, and that's the case on a lot of maps. Now still more raiding, just Mantis being just spammed across. It's so hard to deal with them. Good radar here, at least he can see what's going on, but he's still 4 mexes untaken in his, it's basically his core, and this engineer is dead. Oh no. This is just the most tilting thing. If you can't even take this expansion, like, I'm sure he wants to play even less right now. And more factories going up. Gotta make a lot of factories on this map. I wonder if we see T2 anytime soon. We actually already have 2 T2 mexes. Blodir looks lost in this game. This is really disappointing. Jester's out now. And another NG succumbs. Damn. Blodir actually has more reclaim, interestingly, but the generated mass is nowhere near. No T2 mexes. Now scouting. Seeing extra air factories, seeing 2 T2 mexes. And you should be worried. Let's see, how many air factories does he have? He has 2. And he looks like he wants to snipe, perhaps. So we got a few jesters out. So we'll have to see if he will actually snipe. I think if you want to snipe, maybe he should make the gun fast and just push, because you know the ACU is going to be on this side. That's a lot of interceptors. But it looks like he's squaring up for an ACU push on the right, followed by Jester Snipe to cinch it. Let's see how it works out. See, this is a good play though. I mean, obviously it's not good that he was so far behind, but you have to realize once you're behind and then realize what you can actually do to still win even though you're behind. That's what you do if you're a great player. So let's see if he can pull it off. More T2 Nexus. So much greed from Nexus. That is one thing you can count on with Nexus. He is a greedy bastard. And you can take advantage of it. But on the left, this is an ill-informed attack. That really just... This essentially just relieves pressure on the left-hand side more so than creates it. And on the right, he needs a lot more units and they need to be a lot closer to Nexus's ACU. And... wow. Nexus just 1 air and there's a flag. 2 flags, in fact. That's that. That is GG. Blodir won't escape. Actually, we have T2 air from Nexus as well. Corsairs. So, maybe just a bit telegraphed from Blodir. I'm pretty sure Nexus saw the... I think he may have seen the gestures, but even if he didn't, he would have likely known that he's ahead and also realized that Blodir's not doing a huge amount. He hadn't seen T2 land or anything, so you gotta expect. You gotta pay attention to what you can't see in this game quite often. Even though scouting is so easy, you have to be aware of the things you're not seeing, as bizarre and esoteric that sounds. So let's move on to the next game. Bit of a crush there from Nexus. Blodir, as he said, he didn't really want to play, so that's a bit of a cop-out. Let's see. Nilheim final. Can Nexus close it out 3-0 in this third place match? Actually, yeah, they do. I understand why they play for third place, because I think there's different prize money for third place as opposed to fourth place. Or maybe there's no prize money for fourth. That would be shit, but I'm not sure. You can check the thread, find out, and also you can find all the replays posted in that thread. A couple might be corrupted, unfortunately, but should almost all be here. So we're on Nilheim. I haven't actually played Nilheim in a long time, but I do have a build for it. And this is another one of those build horror maps. Every map is to some extent, but this one, this is kind of made famous, BO whoring on this by Zoc and BH's best of 15, I believe it was. And this map was played a few times. Zoc had some disgusting build for it. which was maybe like 3 or 4 land factories before air, and a lot of assists on the ACU, a lot of reclaim grabbed, a lot of NGs at the start, and not many Mantis. And it's very strong, really. See, one of the most, perhaps the most important part of FAF is time, and so that's really what he was abusing there. Only 5 P-gens. Bit risky. He's stalling now. Usually, if you want second land, you make 6 P-gens because you want to assist, and now, yeah, he's kind of paying for that. If he'd gone for 6, he would be fine right now. Blodir went for 6, as you can see, but he doesn't have enough assist on his ACU, and he actually wasted some mass. There is mass on the plateau, significant amounts. Also here, mirrored on the opposite side. You can see in the expansion there are a lot of mexes and significant amounts of reclaim as well. You can see 6 mexes up top. In these expansions, which are quite strangely rooted. This guy in attack move met the mechs first, so he's gonna fight that instead of the engineer, maybe allowing the engineer to get past. Meanwhile, all initial mantis spammed to the Hydra position from Nexus, while Blodir can do the same job. It's a single one. It's quite good. There's one of the interesting parts of this map is where to send the ACU. So commonly, wow, we see no air factory yet. I think this is really just Nexus abusing Blodir more so than anything. If we look at this build queue, maybe it will appear after this inti is complete. Yeah, so Nexus is just abusing Blodir's playstyle. Blodir doesn't make bombers, so Nexus doesn't make inties. That's what you do. That's why this game is very reactive. You can always do something which beats your opponent, essentially. Almost always. And things only work as long as the other player is doing something in a certain way, generally. Of course, there's this idea of the standard play, but which, you know, exists, but I think people take it a bit too far and think you can just do the same thing every game, and that's not really what standard play means. But yeah, so Nexus is taking advantage here, but Blodir doesn't look in a huge amount of trouble. Actually, right here, I think this is a mistake. I think I would rather have the ACU here. You can see a lot of Mantis moving this direction. I remember in the Zoc BH game, you'd see, I think, at times BH would just park his ACU here, defend this entire area with just his ACU, and every other unit would be sent elsewhere. I think that's pretty useful, and it's quite difficult to put pressure on here. It is possible to do some all-ins in this area because ACUs are generally, from the bottom team, they're often moving to the north, so this is definitely an area where you can I've seen all-ins and they have worked, they have also failed. So edge build onto the factory, onto the plateau with this air factory. Good move. I think usually you want to edge build air factories in most maps because the plateau is not too important for land, but on this one I would definitely actually make I would make a land factory, because you can have contested areas. If the ACU goes to the top, it's easy to throw up some land factories, edge build them here and fight for the plateau and fight for the reclaim. Blodir, however, seems to be going heavy into the air game. He has Jester out already, doing some just plucking away at the Mantis, so maybe more air production is more useful. And now ACU is at the bottom. It's going to deny his half-built Hydro and the 2 Mexes and farm a few kills for himself. Air fight now, and it looks like Nexus took that fight too soon and will lose. He only has one or two mobiles in there to add some DPS, which is not enough. But looking at the expansions north and south, you can see this is essentially secure, whereas the south, blodir can't do anything. It's not held whatsoever by him. He has no NGs. In the actual expansion he has some nearby, just getting some reclaim. But yeah, he just wants to make gestures and win with air, it seems. So here we can see Nexus adding more assistance to his air factory, and there's a significant number of units here now. 20 units, and you know that's the old metric is 20 units beat an ACU, 20 tanks kill an ACU, and we shall see. Blodir probably has overcharge. He doesn't actually. Okay, interesting. And he's taking a ton of damage right now, down to 5k, 4.5, 4k. Oh shit, he just control Ks. Damn. Yeah, Blodir was not having fun. Well, that's quite disappointing, but there you go. Not the greatest 3 games, but not completely uninteresting. I'll try and upload something else quite soon. This didn't take too long, so I should be able to. And hopefully we won't just see cyber mirrors. So Nexus wins the 3rd place in the Legend of the Stars, Ajax 2nd, Mephi 1st, and thanks for watching.